Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever you are. Today we are on SpeedGaming 3, where we are bringing you a Link to the Past Randomizer League playoff match between Team Ferrime will give an interview if we win, and Team Operation Get Good, represented by Kohrek and NilssonAlex92 respectively. This is round 2 of the league playoffs for the Village of Outcasts division, where Team Op Get Good took down Old Swagga Jackson in 4 games to set up this matchup. So this is the first game of this series between the Pendant of Wisdom players, and we are playing Ambrosia today, as is standard for that matchup. I think several people are familiar with this mode at this point, but you can see the two modes listed at the top of the screen. Standard, defeat Ganon. You can see the swords on the menu screen. So that means we're going to be running through the castle, doing the normal castle escape sequence, rescuing Zelda. And the other 2 quirks to keep in mind for the Ambrosia mode is that when the uncle talks at the very start of the game, he will give a somewhat vague hint as to where the boots are. He'll tell you what part of the game they're in. And dungeon bosses in this mode will always drop items. No maps, no compasses, no keys of any kind. Anyways, calling this match tonight, I am Reg, and my tracker in the booth is Velity, so I'm going to bring you all the action here as soon as it gets started in just a few seconds. And we are off today to some boots in Death Mountain. That hint is exclusive to Light World Death Mountain. Get some bombs in the first chest, going to save us some farming. So that really locks the boots down to about 6 locations. You've got the Old Man, you've got the 2 checks on and inside Spectacle Rock, Paradox Cave, Spiral Cave, Floating Island, and the Silly Seed Special, Mimic Cave. Take your pick. Boots are going to be in one of those spots this seed. And we've got a lot of bombs starting us off to go with that sword. Honestly, this is really 6 bombs. This will get you through pretty much everything between the castle and Kakariko itself. And that glove is another one of those things. Always nice to find and have in your back pocket early. In fact, in this seed, it's particularly interesting because we could see them just try to sequence break the lamp, go straight up Death Mountain, and hope the boots are in one of the 2 checks you can get right then. Anyways, castle escape sequence. One of the most commonly seen things in both the randomizer and the vanilla game. The opening sequence, several checks to be made, especially with that map out of the way. The only other non-item check left here is going to be a small key, which has to be somewhere in the next 3 checks. And then aside from that, it's going to be all items. But basically just go as fast as you can, swing your sword as few times as you can, kill as few guards as you can, because everything else is slow. And the good benchmark time for this sequence is generally quoted at around 6 minutes. Both the randomizer and the vanilla game tend to use that as the benchmark. Although it varies a lot more in randomizer. There are no text boxes or anything, but you do generally spend some time farming bombs. But with the free bombs in this seed, I'm going to be looking for both runners to bring those times well under the 6-minute mark this time. And there's 8 slashes on the ball and chain guard for Kohrek to get his small key. Alex doing the exact same thing, not taking damage in the process. So 5 items remain to be found, 1 in the dark cross room, 3 in the back sewers behind the bottom of the wall, and 1 in the sanctuary. Gonna see those checks and then move on to, well, the rest of the game. And while these runners are going through the castle, yeah, it's just, I'll go over the playoff structure a little bit. So I mentioned before that Team Operation Get Good played against Team Swagga Jackson in the first round of the playoffs. Those were the 2nd and 3rd seeds from the Village of Outcast division of the league, with Team Frymail Will Give an Interview being the 1st seed. So the way the playoff structure is set up is that the 2 and 3 seeds will play a best of 5, and then the winner of that plays the number 1 seed from each group. And then you play other groups from your conference. So in this case, the Dark World Conference has Skull Woods, Pyramid of Power, and Misery Mire divisions alongside the Village of Outcast. And the Light World Conference does the same, and eventually you just have 1 team from each conference meeting up in the grand finals. Best of 5s the whole way through here. So we get a Moon Pearl, so 2/3 of Dark World access. But the big thing about the best of 5s, there's 3 runners per team. No runner is allowed to play 3 times in the playoffs. Every team sorted their runners into slots for each pendant: Power, Courage, Wisdom. Wisdom players play Ambrosia. Power players play Open Mode. Or no, I've got that backwards. Courage players play Open Mode, I believe. And then the last one is just the higher seeded team chooses the mode. And then games 4 and 5 are also chosen by the runners. As we see, we're not going on an ice rod hunt today with one of those in the back of the sewers. And yeah, 6 minutes is what I mentioned earlier. Kohrek's coming in. He's going to be in the sink right around the 550 mark, which is really solid. And Alex is just going to be a few seconds behind him here. Okay, so just 10 arrows in the sanctuary. But I don't think anybody would feel bad coming out of the castle escape with a glove of pearl and an ice rod. Our map check sees red across the board with a red pendant at the Eastern Palace and red crystals at the other 2 dungeons. So that's definitely a layout right there. Alright, continuing on. Just some cash there in the mushroom spot and tiny magic on the tree pole, which not very helpful when we've got the half magic out of the castle already. So just gonna take these 100 rupees. That's guaranteed bottle vendor money at least. It's better than nothing. But they're gonna take it to the village and its full density of checks. Now, Kakariko Village has 13 checks in the main village, 1 locked behind a bottle, 10 of them between Blind's Hideout and the well, and then the Librarian Race game just slightly south of it. So Blind's Hideout and the well here make up the single densest check location in the game, just by items per minute. And we're not seeing the value here so far. Just one more chance at a pull in the back. And yeah, absolutely nothing in blind hideout, or at least nothing of value. Let's move on to the well now and just keep it going. And the other half of the hyperdensity checks as a flute. That's really convenient to find in that location specifically, as you can just go buy the bottle merchant's item and then activate it right there. No extra walking required. Just a tiny shield on the bottle vendor there. Bit unfortunate. Very few people actually like having that one outside of the Swamp Palace entry screen. But slightly more people like the fire shield, so maybe find a second one and salvage it a bit here. Unfortunately, the super check density in Kakariko is over now. But we've still got a couple other things like that super convenient bottle placement. That'll let Alex go right next door and check the sit kit immediately and make this about the most efficient Kakariko trip possible. Of course, that sit kit fetch quest not paying off in the slightest, but it's peace of mind, and that's really about it. And unfortunately, I appear to have lost both restreams here. And chat's also reporting Twitch issues, so I'll see what we can do. So yes, the screen is frozen right now. We are aware of this. Please hold tight. Don't go anywhere. Okay, and we appear to be back, at least on Alex's side here. We are on Death Mountain. Alex has an old man, got dead rocked. And I'm not 100% sure we're actually back. Oh, maybe we are. Kohrek's in the mini Moldorm cave. He's got a mushroom. Appears to be quite sporadic issues, though, unfortunately. As I said, please bear with us. We are trying to work through this. It appears to be issues on Twitch's end, which we have minimal power over. Okay, we may be back for real this time. Kohrek obviously found Titansmith somewhere because he is going to the Misery Mire area. Let's see, and they both have Master Swords as well, it looks like, so we missed about 9 minutes. I did not catch what that Mire medallion was, but we do have Green Pendant Palace of Darkness, Blue Pendant Skull Woods, and the rest of the Dark World is the regular crystals. So, my apologies to everybody for that downtime. Again, we had no control over that, but thank you all for sticking with us throughout. And let's see if we can nail down some of what we missed in this downtime. Kohrek, as far as I could see on his menu, the tracker is currently accurate for him, so haven't missed too much of value. Okay, so that mushroom turn-in was the Titansmith, and we did get a frame of that mushroom in Mini Moldorm Cave. And from the menus, it looks like we are back. We're basically up to speed. I think both runners probably did rescue the old man earlier and check out Spectacle Rock, to no real avail. We know that the boots are somewhere on Death Mountain, but we cannot get to the east side of it, and that's where all the item density there is. But we do have some probable route divergence here. I would not expect, given what I'm seeing right now, I would not expect Kohrek to have done the fake flipper plays that Alex is doing. So, we do see a fetch quest in the C-shaped house. And what's our hobo got for us? Armor. Always convenient. And there's East Death Mountain access for Kohrek. Without the hammer, he can't get up to Tower of Hera and the Ether Tablet. We know that the boots will not be inside Hera because the hint was explicitly Death Mountain, but would not be surprised to see Kohrek take a return trip to the mountain after he finishes his Dark World loop down the Hype Cave. Without the hammer, he did choose to skip Thieves Town entirely, which, at the very least, we know with the items he has, he could kill blind. regardless of how the dungeon's laid out. But he's choosing not to isolate that big chest, and he'll just come back for it later. Meanwhile, fake flippering to the Waterfall of Wishing for Alex reveals some bailout cash, even though he already had enough to pay off Zora. And he's going to walk it up and see what that is. Magic mirror on the ledge. That's interesting. And I believe it's actually a highly unfortunate thing for him to find there, because as far as I'm aware, Alex doesn't have the equipment to splash delete walk to the Zora ledge. I don't think it's possible to do the Zora ledge with just Ice Rod and bombs. And yeah, he's not even giving it a shot there, so I don't think he's got it. But Kohrek is getting the Bombos tablet, or Bombos medallion, excuse me, from Stumpy there. So that will get him through the front door of Ice Palace if he really wanted. Though I would expect him to skip that for exactly the same reason he skipped Thieves Town earlier, a lack of a hammer. And here's going to be Hype Cave, which I believe will end Kohrek's Dark World route, as Alex is continuing to avoid the Dark World for now and clear out these early game Light World checks instead with Sahasrah's hut. And total bust in Hype Cave, going to be the save quit, turn in the Smith, and I would expect Kohrek to chase the Boots Hint up the mountain. Okay, 60 rupees is just sad and rude. Kohrek is not taking the flute to turn in the Smith. He's making good use of the hook shot there to speed up his movement a little bit. And he is going to turn in that shovel fetch quest en route and try to farm another couple bombs since he was only sitting on 3. Hopefully on Alex's side here, I'll be able to see what that Misery Mire medallion was. Unfortunately, I think due to the same server issues on Twitch's end, I cannot see Twitch chat. Therefore, if they're trying to update me on something I missed, I have to apologize to them. Okay, so we do have a Quake for Misery Mire. Gonna have to find that at some point. That Bombos medallion that Kohrek found will not get us through that door. But it is knowledge now that both runners have. And now that the Smith is off his bat, Kohrek is back on the mountain, going to take that hook shot over to the east side. And Nilsson, I would imagine, is going to be, fluting to 3. He is off to the Dark World, going to follow Kohrek's routing here. Now, if Alex chooses to go into Thieves Town here, which Kohrek avoided, that will put him further behind the route with respect to getting to the east side of Death Mountain and the probable boots that are here, but could be something big in there that Kohrek may not get for a little while. Okay, Fire Rod on East Death Mountain. So already this trip is pretty good. That's a required item. And honestly, one of my favorite items in the whole game, so. But only 3 checks left for the boots for Kohrek here. There they are. Boots in Paradox Cave, just as Uncle said they'd be. And yeah, that validates the decision by Kohrek to come up here, chase that boots hint, and speed up the rest of his run. Meanwhile, Alex getting his hook shot looks to also be saying no to Thieves Town for the time being, so no advantage to be gained or lost there either way. And Kohrek is making his last mountain check for the time being. Well, no, never mind. He's got the mitts. He can go to the Dark World too. I just fixated on the Light World because of those boots, but we've got those now, so who cares? Only a red rupee, which Kohrek already has plenty of cash. Now for Dark Death Mountain here, there are 6 checks that Kohrek can do with the items he currently has. 2 items in Super Bunny Cave, 4 in Hookshot Cave. He can also get Turtle Rock entry information, but he cannot actually get in. Blue Boomerang, great for like exactly 2 rooms in the entire game once you have the hookshot. Its value in stunning enemies is marginal at best at this point. And actually, Alex took a save and quit after the big game there. Did not go to Stumpy or Hype Cave, he is going directly for his boots. I did not catch that Turtle Rock either. Hopefully Alex will give me a bit better of a look once he gets to the Dark World side. But Fire Rod and Boots in Paradox Cave. Second bottle in Hookshot Cave. Fairly fruitful mountain overall for the quick set of checks that it actually was. And there's Alex getting his boots in the last chest of Paradox Cave. And Kohrek is taking his boots directly to the boots checks. So just recapping the past few minutes on account of Twitch issues. Since people seem to be able to filter back in now, we did get Mushroom in Mini Moldrum Cave, led to the mitts at the Mushroom Turn-In, led to the Hookshot in C-Shaped House, led to the Fire Rod and the boots in Paradox Cave. And Kohrek is going to give us a Lumberjack check here. With the boots, always a good time to do that. But it's nothing, so we're not going to be killing Agate today, barring extreme circumstances. And following up those boots, Kohrek also taking a much faster Ice Rod Cave check than Alex is walking earlier. And we'll see where he goes next. If he follows those fake flippers and learns about his mirror, or if he has some other route in mind. Looks like it is actually the Kohrek did set up the water walk coming out of Ice Rod Cave there. So you'll have a bit of extra speed making these checks here. Yeah, just being able to dash right along the top of the water like that. Very nice, very fast. And our Turtle Rock entry is Quake. So double Quake today to open up our medallion dungeons. That Bombos, not at all useful with Fire Rod in hand. But Kohrek not following the fake flipper play all the way through to Zora. That magic mirror is going to remain a big question mark for him. On the other hand, if he's refusing it now, he will probably not go to the area until he has the flippers, in which case I'd imagine he'll be very happy to have found it. Now, did Kohrek not check Spectacle Rock the first time he was on the mountain? He had saved the old man, but I guess he must not have checked this piece. And Kohrek going to the desert here, took that ledge check. Now it's going to be Agina's cave for him. And I am trying to think of what locations are reachable to us that we have not seen on either side yet. Which obviously we missed a few minutes there, but I believe that was really just the South Shore and the West Death Mountain checks on both sides. But there is... well, we can go into the Eastern Palace to look for progression there if we want. Thieves Town, Full Clearable Skull Woods. So basically at this point, I think we're picking a dungeon to go into for progression. And Alex still has the Southern Dark World, Stumpy, and Hype Cave. Kohrek is choosing his fake flippers now. So that will teach him about the mirror on the Zora ledge that he will not be able to reach. And Alex is here into Skull Woods. He's got the fire rod, so he is going for the standard middle to back to front clear. Just going to do this statue room on his way to the boss, and then do the rest in reverse order of what you would normally expect. Just a map, but also a very well-timed Wallmaster to get him back in lieu of not having a mirror. Okay, so I'm wondering, where is Kohrek off to now? He did the Zora checks, he saw his mirror. Oh, the absolute madman here, setting up a water walk with the boots. And then he's going to get a first try every time fake flipper right here. That will preserve his water walk. Yep. And now he's going to go back to the Zora area. He will get a water walk out of the Waterfall of Wishing Cave. And then he will jump down the waterfall the waterfall south of King Zora. And that will trigger his Boots water walk, which will let him water walk to that magic mirror. On Alex's side, we are seeing him try to knock down Mothula with the fire rod. Mothula being quite the jerk and not responding to that fire at all, though. Well, that's a moth down for Alex. It's only going to be a blue pendant here, but it's an item. Not a progression item, but an item all the same. And there is Kohrek with the double water walk, going to get his magic mirror right away. And that is going to be such good efficiency on his routing. So big heads up play to remember that he can do that. Splash Delete Water Walk is the new hotness for that ledge, but The old Boots Pearl double water walk combo is still very effective. And unfortunately for Alex, that fire rod not blocking anything but a pendant so far. And Kohrek taking his not in logic mirror, he's going straight to Tower of Hera with it. And that's going to presumably be his first crystal of the game. Big key right in the basement cage there. Means that we're not going to have to sit through a tile room or risk leaving something in the basement. Oh, I say that. Risk leaving something in the big chest with the Harapot clip, excuse me. And an item right there, and Kohrek is going straight for Harapot. Pretty clean there, saves a lot of time compared to climbing normally if you can do it quickly, which Kohrek obviously just did. And since this is Ambrosia, he knows that the boss has an item, so he is just skipping literally everything else. And taking an immediate middle hole fall. Meanwhile, Alex finds that Quake medallion in the front of Skullwoods. That's absolutely required. Can't get into Turtle Rock with it without a hammer, but can get into Misery Mire. He wants to try looking for the one item in the front. And it's looking like Alex's next step is that Thieves Town that he is guaranteed a minimum of 3 items plus a crystal from. There's one. We know Blind's going to have one. So 2 more items to find. Kohrek gets his crystal. Oh, flippers for Alex. That's good for him. That'll send him back to the Zora ledge for the mirror, and it basically puts Kohrek in logic right there. Now, Kohrek is in the Desert Palace now, taking that mirror from the mire area. Small key on the torch here. And remember, Ambrosia, so this one item play in the front, Mamolas is going to have the second. So as soon as he finds one item and a big key, he can just mirror right back to the entrance he came in and go straight to the boss. So there's big key. Now where's item? On Alex's side, we did see a map, 2 items, big key front of Thieves Town. So for him, same story as Kohrek, really. You find one item, and you were straight off to the boss. But for Kohrek, his item is in the big chest, which is really unfortunate because it means he checked the right side for nothing. And there's the third item in Thieves Town. Alex is not leaving anything of value behind in that big chest and can just go kill Blind directly. Kohrek is 2 rooms away from Lane Mola's here, plus 1 long moving wall cutscene. And Alex is about to pick up the maiden here, and then can skip the big chest. Doesn't have the small key for it anyways. Does muscle memory check that chest for the small key, even though it couldn't have possibly been an item. It is logical information, though. This does mean that Blind is logically allowed to drop the hammer. Kohrek using that fire rod to pretty good effect against the land molas there, getting a clean 2-cycle. That thing does gold sword damage to those worms, so very good weapon to use. Also doesn't lag very much. Like, there isn't a better weapon in this game than the fire rod, guys. Trust me. Meanwhile, on Alex's side, we're in the blind fight. 9 hits, 3 per phase. And the more or less deterministic movement of Blind means that he's got a real easy crystal himself. No real progression in Thieves Town besides those flippers in the front, but with Alex knowing that that mirror is behind them, he's got to be happy to have them. Unfortunately for Kohrek, Checkerboard Cave is nothing, so he's got to be off to somewhere. I would imagine Skullwoods and Thieves Town for him, following Alex on the route now. Alex getting his totally useless Bombos medallion. The most utility that could possibly have this seed with what we know is you can save some magic by opening Cold Stare Shell with it, which costs a little bit of time compared to the Fire Rod, and yeah. But Kohrek is going to Skullwoods. He's going to do the same back to front clear we saw from Alex earlier, and when he does finally get to the front, he'll have a blue pendant and a Quake medallion to show for it. And if anybody missed it on Kohrek's side, Pipe Cave. Very good cave today, I promise, guys. 3/4 of a heart and 40 rupees. So now I have to imagine that Alex is going to flute to 8 here and immediately go get his mirror. Yeah, that's the play for him. And then where's he going to take it after that? He could try his hand at Swamp Palace with the items he has, but no hammer means he's not going to get very far. He could try Ice Palace, but that's got the same issue. Tower of Hera is fully clearable, like we saw on Kohrek's side earlier, and is the safest play from a not isolating item standpoint, but it's also kind of slow to climb the mountain like that again. So I'm kind of curious what he's going to choose to go with here. Yep, there's Alex's mirror, and now he's got to just screen transition back to the waterfall screen, and he will be able to flute, because you cannot flute in Zora's domain for very highly obnoxious unknown reasons. I think, yeah, that's the last hit on the moth on Kohrek's side. 50 rupees and blue pendant get. And Alex is choosing the Tower of Hera. We know that he will find junk and junk in there, but it will be his second crystal of the game. And unfortunately for Kohrek here, The second item in Skullwoods can be anywhere, so he's going to check efficiently starting from the back, and we know that'll just have him make a few extra not useful checks before he actually gets that Quake medallion. Now, what you want to look for here on Alex's side is mostly the efficiency of his Harapot, but also whether or not he gets knocked down by Moldorm. Because if his Harapot's comparable to Kohrek's very clean one, and he doesn't take that Moldorm fall, that's a significant time save over Kohrek's Heraclear. He is going for a bomb setup here, which by definition gonna be a little slower because you have to wait for the bomb to explode. And was off by a pixel somewhere on his setup. And off again as Kohrek gets his Quake medallion. I'm unfortunately not familiar with the setup Alex is doing specifically, but third try, there you go. That's probably in the range of comparable to climbing normally, unfortunately. But not losing him time, at least. I think here's new information on Kohrek's side here, that the bumper ledge is trash. But we'll see more information from him in the form of Graveyard Ledge soon, I would imagine. Yeah, he's on his way over there. And there's Alex killing Moldorm without getting middle hold, so saving some time over Kohrek there. Probably roughly canceling out the Harapot difference. And that is not progression. Kohrek thumbs his nose at the red boomerang. And he's gonna be off to somewhere next. I would imagine he's going to grab the purple chest and check the cave south of the Hana Grove as he turns it in. Meanwhile, Alex, following Kohrek on the mirror route from before, doing things very slightly out of order here, checking the checkerboard cave before going into desert. And just to provide a recap, since obviously Twitch has been Twitch the past 45 minutes, and many people may not have seen it that are watching live, the Pyramid Fairy has not been checked, even though we've got both of the 5-6 crystals here. The main logic chain so far was Mushroom in the Mini Moldorm Cave to Titan's Mitts at the Mushroom Turn-In, which was Dark World access, to get the hookshot out of the C-shaped house and the flippers out of the front of Thieves Town, and then that to get the boots and the fire rod off the mountain, and to get the mirror off of Zora's Ledge. Kohrek sequence broke the flippers with a beautiful boots plus pearl water walk combination, so he has not yet been in Thieves Town. Looks like he's going to go very shortly here, though. Yeah, so he'll have his flippers and be back on logic within 2 checks, I think. And the boots were in the Paradox Cave on the east side of the mountain, just upstairs from the fire rod, which was also in the same cave. But the mirror was the ticket to entering both Tower of Hera and Desert Palace, which are both the 5-6 crystals. So we have not seen any real checks beyond that at this point, because after clearing out those 2 locations, Kohrek opted to go back to the Dark World for Skullwoods, where that Quake medallion was found. And as you can see on the tracker, Quake is entry to both Mire and Turtle Rock. And he is doing Thieves Town now for his 3rd crystal. Meanwhile, Alex doing Desert for his 3rd crystal, actually going to be ahead on the count here, as he's going to be in and through the Lanmolas fight significantly before Kohrek gets the blind fight. assuming this holds. Actually, looking at the tracker here, I'm not seeing any items really that either the one runner has that the other doesn't at this point. So we're pretty much on parity as far as the progression goes, and we're even going to be the same 3 crystals and 1 pendant on each side once these guys clear their respective dungeons. So we're just thinking through where the next progression can be. Chat mentioned Pyramid Fairy. And there's also a few dungeons that can be entered, but not necessarily cleared. The Pendant Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace both need a bow to fully clear those out. Swamp Palace and Ice Palace both need a hammer. Misery Mire needs a Cane of Samaria. Turtle Rock, we can't even get through the front door right now. But that is Alex with 3 crystals now, and both 5/6s. So, where's he gonna go from here? Meanwhile, Kohrek saving the 2 seconds, realizing he has 3 items, that Maiden Chest cannot possibly be the 4th because this is Ambrosia mode, and not letting muscle memory get the better of him. And there is 3 hits on blind, waiting for the head to spawn for 4, 5, and 6. Totally perfect fight so far. 6, 7, and 8. And if you're on the perfect kill script there, the further left he is when you kill him, the better you did. And that was one of the best fights I've seen from a blind fight recently. Very well done. Well, it's looking like it's going to be the Smith chain for Alex here. I don't believe he picked up the Smith at all earlier. Or no, he's going to go bumper ledge and graveyard ledge first. Meanwhile, Kohrek, I had expected him to do this earlier with the purple chest, but he's just getting his mirror check on the way to... Well, really just getting his mirror check, and then probably going to run over to the super bomb and take... Well, I say that, but no hammer. So... Kohrek's going to Misery Mire. Okay. No Cane of Samaria to be had here. We know Vitreous is going to have 1 item. So Kohrek is playing a 1-item gamble here, going into Misery Mire without the Cane of Samaria. And if that 1 item happens to be a Cane of Samaria, he's in pretty good shape. It'll let him full clear the dungeon. And we got the 1 cycle Mire to clear there with very good use of the Fire Rod and Sword Beams. Kohrek continues to be good at video games. Because as far as individual rooms go, doing that one in 1 cycle, one of the harder things to do in the game. Meanwhile, Alex finished up his North Dark World checks, turning in a Smith right now, and then it's going to be Hammer Pegs afterwards for him. Or not Hammer Pegs, excuse me. Purple Chest afterwards for him. And he'll check out the cave south of the grove as he does so. And I would like to say Pyramid Fairy, but without a hammer or an Aghanim kill, that's going to be a no-go. And without a lamp, the Aghanim kill itself is a no-go. Oh, well, speaking of the lamp, there we go. So that's the one item in Misery Mire here. Kohrek is going to stick around to find the big key so that he does not have to do that later, but he will not be finding any other items in this dungeon without the Canis Maria. Alex actually continuing the efficiency chain here, using that mirror, gonna turn in this shovel fetch quest, and then he's gonna take his purple chest right back into the Dark World portal. And Alex is not wanting to abandon his chest here. He doesn't have any more mirror checks to make along the way. So he totally could abandon the chest here and use that glitch to let him run around a bit, but opting not to do so, and absolutely nothing wrong with that. And for chat asking about Fire Rod Aga Tower without the lamp, there are several dark rooms in Aghanim's Tower that do not have torches, and just one of those is disqualifying for that being in logic. And Alex kept trying to press A to turn in the purple chest, which kept dropping it, which meant he had to go pick it back up. And Vanilla Big Key in Misery Mire, very slow for Kohrek, but he has it, not going to have to do it again next time. And Alex, while he's in the area from having turned in the purple chest, is actually making the play on the first chest of Swamp Palace. Well, second chest. First chest is the guaranteed small key. Second chest is an item. It could be the hammer. And it's the only thing he can check in that dungeon without the hammer. So there's the key. And he's going to blow open the wall in the next room and get the one chest. And it's just a lot of cash. Not paying off for him today. It looks like Kohrek is going for that super bomb. It's not in logic without an Aga kill or the hammer. But the Aga kill is in logic for him, and he'll show off some funky duping shenanigans here to get it across the river. Meanwhile, Alex also swimming across the Dark Lake, but he's just got the Pyramid and Catfish and potentially Palace of Darkness in mind here. He's not carrying the bomb. But you see Kohrek mirror when it hits 0. He's going to mirror bonk here, but you also see he's got his bomb with him again. And the bomb does swim if you don't jump. So yeah, Kohrek, if the hammer is at this location, Kohrek just sequence broke an Aga kill. And if there is no progression at this location, Kohrek still did something really, really cool and pretty efficient considering he's got to check the Pyramid Ledge and Catfish as well. So yeah, Kohrek continuing to be good at video games, but Alex is further along the route than him right now if this isn't the answer. Oh, that Cane of Samaria. That's a big deal. Hammer can logically be behind that Cane of Samaria. So he could go back to Misery Mire, kill himself a Vitreous now if he wants to. Especially because now we know it's not Catfish either. So we're looking at Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, or Vitreous for real progression here. Neither of the two pendant dungeons have been touched at all, and there are a lot of items to be found. And since chat is asking, yes, it is absolutely in logic to kill Aghanim to get that single Dark World portal and use that plus the mirror to deliver the super bomb. So if the hammer is behind that Cane of Samaria, the seed expects you to kill Aghanim, to get the Cane of Samaria, to kill. It has to be to kill Vitreous at this point because you cannot get into Turtle Rock without a hammer. But to kill Vitreous to get a hammer. The odds of that actually being the case are so low at this point. We've got so many other locations the hammer can be. But it's there in the back of your mind. And frankly, even if that Cane of Samaria doesn't block anything of progression, well, Kohrek still got a lot of efficiency out of it. And Kohrek is taking it right back to Mire. So he's going to just straight bum rush a Vitreous here. And we are not that far from learning what we were supposed to do with Agatha's Seed. Like, honestly, I know Alex is a great player. At the very least, would not be here in this match if he wasn't, but I know he's a great player. I don't actually know if he's practiced with that particular bomb dupe and what he's going to do if it comes down to it. But if he has to go kill Aghanim for that, which he is using the potion glitch here to get past these mimics, this red mimic specifically without a bow, but he failed his camera unlock. And yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, and as chat's saying, he moved right after drinking his potion, and that properly set the camera, and that's real unfortunate. But Kohrek did dash before putting that Samaria block down, so he's got the spooky action glitch set up. He does not need it against this spike here, and he's got the presence of mind to know that he doesn't, but he can still use it in this next room here to save at least a few seconds. Just like that. Spooky action at a distance. And again, off that torch. And here we go. Meanwhile, Alex here, I'm not sure what isn't in logic for him without a bow. I don't think anything in the Dark Maze or the Harmless Hellway is in logic, but I can't remember if he skipped a check in the front. Master Sword Vitreous, very slow, very painful when you get hit. But he's got all the small eyes down now, and his best option at the big one remains his sword. So he's got to slash at that thing a lot. Alex is going through the Dark Maze without that lamp that's in Misery Mire. I didn't catch him get what was in the first chest, if anything. Kohrek's got his Vitreous down. And it's the hammer. Oh, Lord. This seed is ugly. And Kohrek did the one thing that this seed did not want you to do. Kohrek sequence broken Aga kill, everybody. Now the real question, when is Alex even going to get that? Like, when's he going to dupe the big bomb across the river and sequence break that Aga kill himself? Like, I don't think the thought even crosses his mind without the lamp, because the lamps needed to put Aga in logic to begin with. And if he does, when's he going to go into Meyer without the cane? Like, this is a really, really nasty catch-22 type situation for Alex here. Actually, chat's saying it, but no, Kohrek is not in go mode yet. He still needs a bow, unless he wants to mimic clip Ganon's tower, which I guess theoretically he can. So yeah, Kohrek, if he wants to mimic clip, Kohrek's in go mode. There's nothing really stopping him at this point. And yeah, his teammate Ak is saying, yeah, he's in go mode. So I'm gonna take your word for it, Ak, and just Kohrek's gonna clip the mimics and just go. Swamp Palace for Kohrek here. His approach to this dungeon's going to tell me whether Ak's a liar or not, whether his team actually knows what he's going to do here. If he continues making a lot of checks, then I don't know. But if he go modes this dungeon, aside from like the super easy checks, like that first check and the flooded chests, then maybe. Meanwhile, Alex back in the Dark Maze, got some bombs out of the lower chest. And what's in the big chest for him? Piece of heart. And Kohrek is continuing to make at least the non-dirty checks. Remember, this is Ambrosia, so we do know one item on the boss. Unfortunately, that map in the south chest does mean that the left side is guaranteed to be one item, or blocking one item if it's Compass plus Big Key. But are going to see some diver down fun from Kohrek here. He's going to place a Cane of Samaria block here, jump out of the water facing right, and just go right through that rail. And he's walking on water for a Tempered Sword. So suddenly the idea of bowless Ganon doesn't sound so totally unappealing. Okay, 2 items left side swamp now. 2 items between the left side and the big chest, excuse me, if I want to be totally correct about this. And chat's asking about Vanilla Bow being possible this seed. I was looking at Kohrek's screen instead of Alex's when he went through Eastern Palace, so I don't know if he has a big key. He does not have a big key, so yeah, Vanilla Bow is possible. Not very likely, but definitely possible. And Kohrek got a blue cane off of Argus. That is 5 crystals for him. He is almost certainly going to run straight over to Ice Palace and check the easy chest along the way for his 6th. And then Turtle Rock for his 7th. So here's Kohrek dashing across the southern shore of Hyrule. Alex getting rewarded with absolutely nothing of value in Eastern Palace. And with no bow, can't go get the 3rd item off the Armos Knights, so unfortunate for him. Pod Eastern Pendant dungeons both turning up absolutely bust. And yeah, just to recap how ugly this has been and the very unfortunate situation Alex is now in. Kohrek did a bomb dupe in the Dark Lake to get a Cane of Samaria out of the Pyramid Fairy. And that Cane of Samaria blocked the hammer on Vitreous. So on Alex's end, he has to either kill Aghanim to get that the intended way or do the same dupe at some point. But he has to. And the problem is, the other item in Misery Mire besides the hammer on Vitreous was the lamp. Logically speaking, basically nobody's going to consider Aghanim without the lamp. So Alex is basically, when's he going to go into Mire to learn that piece of logic, learn that Aghanim kill isn't logic for him, so that he can get his Pyramid Fairy. This is everybody's worst nightmares come to pass, if I'm being honest. But Kohrek did go up, hit the crystal switch, took a couple buffers, but got a very nice icebreaker there, and he is through to the right side of the dungeon where a lot of chests are. And 2 small keys in the first 3 chests. Kohrek is continuing to check the chests that are in his way for a bow, but unless his teammate is not to be trusted, he's only going to check the easy chests, and if it comes down to it, he'll just clip mimicking Ganon's Tower. And yes, to quote Twitch chat here, Logic wants you to double dip Misery Mire so that you can kill Aga 1 to get Cane of Samaria out of Pyramid Fairy to get Hammer off Vitreous. Ew doesn't even begin to describe it. Okay, Kohrek's got both items out of main Ice Palace. Gonna get the 3rd one off Cold Stair just as soon as he can drop down into the fight. Alex with a great stair clip there, but unfortunately, he is highly limited in what he can do in this dungeon without the hammer, so feels a little bad for him. And Kohrek has Cold Stare into a corner, but lets him out so that he can use the Fire Rod, and 3 Fire Rod shots for 3 Cold Stares down. 6 crystals for Kohrek here. And Alex is making the Misery Mire play after having gotten everything he can out of every other dungeon that he can reach. In fact, I believe that this is his literal last location, unfortunately. And for chat, luckily for chat, the bomb dupe, for anybody who missed it, was after Twitch came back online, so that should be viewable in the VOD. I have no idea what is or isn't it going to be in the VOD, but I know that specific one was after chat came back up, so. Kohrek trying to get to Turtle Rock, let himself get dead rocked instead. Also, just as a reminder for chat, this is the first game of a best-of-5 between these two teams in the league playoffs. The second game, well, I say second, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but the other two of the first 3 games will feature Sir Linkalot versus Gem, and I believe that will be a plain open mode seed, no frills. And then the other game of the first 3 will be Ack the Boker versus, where'd that go? Wall Kicks. And I believe Ack will be choosing the mode for that one, with Wall Kicks being allowed 1 veto. So while this situation is unfortunately very bad for NilssonAlex and Team Op Get Good, well, there's still a lot of room for them to turn it around. If not in this game, then in the future games between these two teams. And yeah, Alex has his lamp. I think he's realizing that, yeah, he's out of locations. Big key item, small key in the first 3 chests of Turtle Rock. Fairly normal. And just to recap for chat a little bit, Kohrek is in go mode right now if and only if he clips mimics in Ganon's tower. Which his teammate is saying he's in go mode, so I'm taking that word at its word. Alex is checking the lumberjack here, which he had not done to this point. Sorry, buddy. Even if this is trash right here, you're still gonna either go kill the wizard or you're gonna match the bomb dupe. See, fluting to 4. He's not sure where he's fluting to, unfortunately. Okay, and Kohrek is opting for the lava chest here. Going to give this dungeon the full clear, which is reasonably fast. My thought here is that if that chest was a bow, Kohrek is thinking that it saves him time over mimic clipping, which is fairly reasonable. I would expect to see him probably check Mimic Cave too, actually, if he checked that lava chest. And Alex looks like he's headed for the bomb shop here. No, he's going... oh, yeah, he's going south. He doesn't have the book. No, is he just taking a roundabout path to the bomb shop, maybe? He may be checking if he talked to the mini Mortarm Cave NPC and just wants a convenient Dark Orb? Nope. Is he blind checking Lake Hylia Island? Yeah, I'm not sure he ever checked this before, even though he did the fake flippers earlier. Unfortunately for him, that's not anything of use. Okay, so East Dark World for Alex here. Very unfortunate at this point. Like, he's exhausted all his checks. He knows he's exhausted all his checks, but can't come up with the right answer, which is go kill Aga for the Pyramid Fairy. And yeah, he's headed back into Palace of Darkness. I thought he got both items out of the Dark Maze, but I am not sure. He's going to attempt the potion glitch, chat's reminding me. He did fail that the first time. So he's going to go check it now and just pray. Meanwhile, Kohrek takes a hit on Laser Bridge, but gets his bow and he's not checking anything else. Rest in peace, any and all Mimic Clip fans and Kohrek's teammates, because Kohrek is now in hard go mode. Granted, he is getting to do literally nothing in actual said hard go mode except kill Trinex. And Kohrek taking a hit there from Trinex's foot. Does not get the fire head down. And does not get the menu to fire rod before getting that last slash in. But almost got 2 side heads down on Trinex here. Yep. And now he's just got to wait for the shell to explode and kill the main body. As Alex gets to the right side there of Palace of Darkness. Gets an Ether Medallion, and this is going to have to be a small key, I believe. Yep. So, Kohrek. Trinex is dead. 7 crystals. Going to Ganon's Tower. Got a bug net. Chat knows the score on this one. 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. One has a big key. Chat can guess. Have fun. Alex has gone back to Palace of Darkness, did his Mimic Clip, or did his potion glitch, and I think he is now resigned to the fact that, yeah, he's going to have to kill Aghanim. Because he is headed back to the castle. And for anybody who missed it and doesn't see it at the top, this was a standard mode seed, so we saw all the chests in the castle at the start of the game. And Kohrek, following the traditional Hope Room first route here, gets a Mirror Shield, gets a Heart Container. No small key to continue on to the Compass Room, so he is going left. And hey, there's your second bow. Rest in peace, Mimic Clip fans. Unfortunately, the first 3 checks, there was no big key to be had. And it's looking like 4, 5, 6, and 7, no good as well. Magic Cape for it, but who needs that at this point? Now, people may have heard me say earlier that the blue boomerang was useful in like 2 rooms in the entire game. That was 1, and this is 2. Actually, I guess really there's 3. Alex showed off number 3 right there. Unfortunately, 9 checks down in Ganon's tower. Still no big key. So, Alex is reaching his AGA 1 fight as Kohrek blows open the randomizer room. A chunk of change and a map in the randomizer room. So we are now 13 checks through Ganon's tower with no big key. And Alex is showing us what this seed intended Kohrek to do to get that Cane of Samaria and hammer. No powder means that Kohrek is letting that anti-fairy escape before blowing the hole in the floor. So, here we go. Nice Armos fight. Six silver arrows makes a mockery of the fact that that boss even exists. And gold sword, big key, and 10 arrows behind the Ice Armos. So that would be number 16 for Kohrek. And Roger Dodgers was the winner of the guessing game today. First one to guess 16. A couple other people also guessed it as well. So congratulations to everybody involved. And we can watch Kohrek not flip some mimics here. Meanwhile, that's actually AGA 1 down for Alex, getting his free trip to the Dark World and a refill. And now, unfortunately, he's got to go back to the village of Outcast, take the long walk down and around to the bomb shop, and then walk that up to the castle. Like, not having the hammer sucks. Because that means this is the only Dark World portal you can use, and you've got to take the long walk to get literally anywhere, and it's very painful. But, well, silver arrows, gold sword, nothing takes more than 1 hit in that gauntlet, and Kohrek's on to land Mola's 2. And there's Wizrobe's 1 as Alex grabs his big red bomb. And the good news for Alex is that he's got a bit shorter of a walk than Kohrek did to turn that in, but that's cold comfort at best at this point. And here's the first torch room in Ganon's tower. Dodge the fire bar, light them all with either the fire rod or the lamp. Go through this door, and just do not go upstairs the same frame as one of those torches goes out. And you're in the torches too. And Alex has his Cane of Samaria, There is exactly one location in logic that he can take this to, which is that Vitreous kill. Kohrek not checking any chests upstairs, but is getting that magic refill. Gonna just put his sword in Moldworm's tail twice. Worm's gonna blow up, spawn a chest, he'll hookshot over to it. And then proceed to not open that chest en route to Agatu. That is, unfortunately, only a single on the first phase there or first cycle there for Kohrek. Single on the second one as well, as he gets a blue ball. But does get a double on the third, needs 2 more hits. And there we go. That's Agatu down for Kohrek. Alex did not get the big key last time he was in Mire. He got the lamp and veiled. So he has to hunt for that still, and it is in the last location. He will check for it, since it's unfortunately hard vanilla and behind the cutscene. So and Gold Sword makes the first phase of Ganon an absolute joke at 6 hits. Same for the second phase, which Kohrek is doing with dash pokes here. He tried to walk out of the circle and took a hit. I know a lot of top tier runners actually like dodging the fire bats from inside the circle, seem to have an easier time doing that. But we're on to phase 3, and we are now 2 hits away from Oh No Silver. And oh no, Silver. That's 1 arrow. Kohrek's gonna light the torch here. Tried for the torch glitch, missed his fire rod shot, but has an easy lineup for a double here. No, it doesn't get it. Just a single. And this one's just gonna be, oh no. Okay, I miscounted somewhere. Whatever, Kohrek's got 4 hits. All he's got to do is cross the bridge and he'll be done, so GG's in chat for him as he puts his team up 1-0. And Alex en route to the back of Misery Mire, where he's going to kill a Vitreous and get his hammer. And I'm joined by Kohrek. So, GG, you did the thing. I don't know if you can be hurt or not, Kohrek. Okay, maybe having a bit of technical.
Oh, hi. I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
Okay. So, GG, congratulations. You did the thing. Good job.
Thank you. That was something else.
Yeah, I think if you have the stream up, you're seeing it. Alex is getting the bad news as soon as he kills a bunch of small eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this might be the craziest hammer logic I've seen in a regular type of scene. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. I think the big thing I want to know, just off the top of my head, would you have clipped the mimics if it came down to it?
No, the only trick I just don't bother learning or care to is mimic clip. I just have never done it, and I don't really care to. I just see it almost convinced me that maybe I should change my mind on that one, but I got bailed out, so it's all fun.
Yeah. You want to go call Ack a liar for me? I think he'll take it better coming from you.
I mean, I was a swing vote on the council to make sure it stayed legal, even though I can't do it. So that's a true story, by the way.
That sounds fun. It's not a trick I can do either, but it's not one that I strongly object to. Meanwhile, Alex fighting his Vitreous. I think he's just a few spins away from getting it down. Yeah, there it is. So he's getting his hammer, and then pretty shortly after doing so, he opted to forfeit the race. So that's going to be the end of the race here today for everybody. And I think we'll see if we can get him in, see if he wants to talk about this a bit too. And yes, we are joined by Alex as well. So, GG?
GG's.
Hey, GG.
GG's, Kohrek.
So, yeah. I was talking with Kohrek a bit about it while you finished up that Vidi fight, but yeah, that was some dirty, dirty logic there.
I honestly, I didn't even think about tagging him. Well, I kind of did in the beginning when we got the Master Sword from the dam, but I was like, there's no chance. And I should have done something differently, but I mean, you don't want to go tagging him. You don't want to do that.
Honestly, the dirtiest part of the whole thing, in my opinion, was that the lamp was the other item in Mire. Who considers agging him without the lamp? Like, seriously.
I mean, you can do it, but like, I would probably not do it at all. Like, if I didn't get the lamp, I would just hold it off, and then I got the lamp in Mire, and I was like, well, that is when pretty much the light went up that, oh, I still have to do agging, because there was nothing on the lumberjack ledge, and there was nothing in the other place I checked. So I thought it was hammer behind Pyramid Fairy, but like in that way, like in chests, but it was Sumaria, and I was like, wait, are you kidding me? Is this a joke? Like, is this really happening? That it's kind of Sumaria in like here? And I was like, it only opens up one spot, and it's Mire. And the fun part is that I already had hammer on Vitreous one time before in the league this season, so a little bit of flashback there.
Yeah. I mean, great location for it, just not if you have to kill an Aghanim first and double dip the dungeon.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. I feel like I played pretty well overall. I knew before I went up in this fight against Kohrek that I'm going to trail here against Kohrek, because I know Kohrek's a good player. So, but I didn't think that the seed would be like this. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, putting the logic aside, honestly, the race was real close throughout most of the mid game. I thought, like, really back like when you were finishing Desert, Kohrek was not quite done with Thieves Town at the time. You did things out of order, but you were basically on parity at 3 crystals. So
yeah, I feel
really good. Yeah, really good play on both sides, I thought.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't really open up that much in the beginning. You pretty much, I don't really remember where we found all the progression, but definitely going to the mountain first, like going for the boots was pretty okay. It was speeding up stuff, but the boots didn't really unlock anything itself. So
nah, just nice to have, and that fire rod to point you in the general direction of Skull Woods to get into Mire.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Skull Woods play because I didn't want to dip into Skull Woods at all without a fire rod because you never know where the item is, and it had Quake, so pretty alright with that, holding it off.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything more I wanted to go over this seed. We hit the obvious big points. Anything that either of you want to say before we start wrapping this?
It just, thank you for the commentary and the tracking and the restream and all that. We're doing this for that Farami interviews, and we're trying to keep it going here. With all due respect to my opponent team here, we want to keep that interview chance alive. So I did my part today, and we'll see. I think Act goes tomorrow and Gem goes on Thursday. So we'll try to keep it going for the fans.
I was gonna say, GG's Kohrek. There's a reason why this team is undefeated throughout the league so far, and I guess it's up to my other two teammates here to try to break the streak at least one time. But GG's to Kohrek, and thank you guys for putting us on the restream. Thanks for the commentary and tracking, and thank you so much.
Yep. I'll give big shout outs to my tracker Velity for keeping everything in order. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Twitch was down for like half the race. So,
well, I had no idea actually.
Yeah, I would expect that you guys didn't, too busy running the race to notice, but Veldy did a good job keeping me straight, keeping that tracker lit up, even with the technical difficulties. So very big shout outs to them. Anyways, I'll take a moment. I'll go down the schedule for the rest of the night. On the Link to the Past front, we've got a match at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, which is in about 50 minutes between the Titansmiths and Finjana Drifters with Sailor Nep and Jet 082. An hour and a half after that, we've got the first game of a doubleheader between WJP TBB and Team Kappa with JTB and Gamashu in game 1 and JP and 1UP in the second match. And then that actually covers it for Link to the Past Randomizer specifically tonight. Looking at the rest of the Speed Gaming schedule, we've got Zelda 1 Randomizer random % on Speed Gaming 2 that started about 20 minutes ago. And then there will be more immediately following that. We've got Final Fantasy Randomizer at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is about 2.5 hours from now. And that is on both Speed Gaming and this Speed Gaming 3. And we've got Super Metroid and Link to the Past Combo Randomizer 1v1 tournament at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. So about an hour and 20 from now on Speed Gaming 4. And half an hour after that, another one starts on Speed Gaming 6. So absolutely no shortage of things to watch tonight, whether you want straight Link to the Past or anything else. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for us here. I've been Reg, my tracker is Velity, and see all of you over some other race.